To discuss about Turkey, I have here with me today Rian Omen-Rutten. Hello.
Hello.
You are rapporteur for the Turkish issue. And Mr. Kaliagasi, hello. You are the international coordinator of TÜSİAD, which is the Association of Turkish Industry. Coming from Turkey, we have been to Turkey to see how Armenians live today and what are their expectations for the future.
Hayko Bağdat is a 33-year-old Turkish citizen of ethnic Armenian descent. His family is originally from Istanbul, and here he runs a small printing house in the cultural center of town. Hayko says that due to 100 years of nationalistic policies, the ordinary person on the street doesn't even know that around 2 million Armenians lived in this country until 1915.
If you start questioning why one of the ancient peoples of Anatolia are not here anymore, you'll have problems. Then you need to answer why so few Armenians remained in this country. The history of modern Turkey is full of intentions and actions to get rid of its minorities.
Until now, the Armenian community kept a low profile in public life and have not raised their civil and cultural rights as much as they're entitled to.
Even if our population is only around 60,000, some of us will stand up for our rights. We did it in the recent past, and then Hrant Dink was murdered.
For youngsters like Hayko, the Turkish-Armenian journalist Hrant Dink was an idol who was gunned down by an ultra-nationalistic young person outside his newspaper in Istanbul in 2007. Dink's murderer did not hesitate to express his hatred against Armenians. Dink and his team have been publishing revolutionary articles about human rights and minority issues at the weekly Agos. The paper also openly questioned official Turkish history about the mass murder of Armenians in 1915, portrayed as genocide by Armenians worldwide and deportation by Turkey. Furthermore, Dink was also strongly in favor of the re-establishment of ties between Turkey and Armenia, who had cut their diplomatic relations in 1993.
One of Hrant Dink's biggest dreams was to get borders opened up between Turkey and Armenia. Not to forget, they are not open yet.
Recently, Armenian and Turkish presidents met at football World Cup qualifying matches in both Armenia and Turkey, after years of lapsed diplomatic relations. Turkish and Armenian governments also signed a historic accord to normalize relations on October 10, 2009.
Politicians say they do it for Turkey, but it was the pressure that European Union put on Turkey. The EU asked Turkey to improve its stance toward minorities here.
Armenia became an independent republic in 1991, but no firm relations were established between Turkey and Armenia since then. Currently, both governments work internally to get relations established over a period of time.
I think the government took a big risk and they have courage. There is no problem which cannot be solved. The people do not have any problems with each other.
It's not necessary at all. I think you cannot trust Armenians. We don't trust them at all.
Despite some skepticism, people generally seem to favor the recent developments. But what about the people living in eastern regions of Turkey bordering the Armenian frontier? The city of Kars in eastern Turkey is only half an hour from the Armenian border. Yet the border with Armenia has been closed for 16 years.
Kars is a bridge between Anatolia and the Caucasus. The overall expectancy is improvement of relations. But if you ask people what they're going to trade with, they don't know.
Around half of the population in this city is unemployed.
Go and see the coffee houses. They are full of unemployed people.
We used to trade with Armenians in the past. They should come here and we should be able to go there as well.
Eastern Turkey is also home to many Armenian heritage sites, such as the ancient city of Ani near Kars.
Every year, 300,000-400,000 diaspora Armenians are visiting Armenia. We made a survey among some of them, and according to the results, if the borders are opened, almost all of them want to come to Turkey. And imagine if they spend $100 per day. It's 60-70 million US dollars. Maybe it's not very important for Western Turkey, but it's very important for southeast and east part of Turkey.
Back in Istanbul, less than a dozen local Armenians are attending church service on a Sunday. It is of crucial importance for the small Armenian community in Turkey that both countries reconcile their differences and establish normal relations. Perhaps then, historical problems such as the human tragedy that took place in 1915 can also be discussed freely and objectively.
Mrs.